And I was on the other side, the Mexican side of the border, with with a group of guys that are waiting to climb over that night. You say, why would I be there? Wouldn't that be dangerous? Yeah, well, I hired a cop to stand over to the side, and watch us. You can buy cops over there. It's rent a cop. So I was asking him. I said, when is this thing going to take place? When are you going over? He says, well, they're just letting release. They were just releasing the prisoners that night, and there's going to be a lot of people going over. He says, what do you mean? Do you mean the prisoners? I mean, I don't understand. He says they release the prisoners and allow them to get over to the fence because they want to get rid of them. They come over the fence and into this country.
Just dump their garbage here?
That's right. It's like flushing their toilets. And, I take a look at the reason for this. The invasion is occurred. There's maybe 21 million illegals in this country. And the reason for that is that a certain portion of them, will accept a chip, a biochip, in exchange for a citizenship. So it's citizenship, citizenship, CHIP,
Yeah.
666. In other words, they're going to exchange that, take that, for the mark. And then they'll come back and say, well, look, it's working for the Mexicans, and then we can tell who's working or not working, who's coming over to be employed, who can't be employed. This is a way of identifying the people that's necessary to protect us from this invasion happening south of the border. The invasion is occurring by choice. When you go along from Mexico, just across the border, you'll see signs that are on poles, which are fixed in concrete, which shows like a Mexican family running across the road and says caution.
Yeah, we got those down here in California, down in San Diego, just down
Right,
south
that's what
of
I'm
us.
saying.
Yeah.
Between there and Oceanside.
It's a silhouette of the families running across the street holding hands. You got the mom and the dad and the kids. I thought it was interesting, when they do those signs, the heads are not connected to the bodies. I don't know if that's some kind of subliminal thing, but I always thought that was strange.
They may lose their heads.
Right.
Certainly, the United States public has lost theirs. There's trailers that have been found with guillotines in this country. There's 500,000 coffins, plastic coffins, which were recently discovered down in Georgia, near Atlanta.
The FEMA camp coffins, right?
Right. Camp FEMA. It's like a roach motel.
You can check in,
you
but
don't
you don't check
out.
out.
It's so bad.
Yeah.
That, anyone, like one fellow listening, I said, wonderful. Maybe we're just talking to him tonight. Says, well, look, I can do something. I'll help in some way. Maybe he's going to, underwrite an editor for a while. Or maybe he's it's a website that, and he's a spectacular webmaster who can get our stuff out on the Free World Alliance. And let me tell you about what that's all about. It is a federation. It's the initiation of a federation of nation states to recognize the tribal, linguistic, racial, political, religious, ethnic nation groups throughout the world is my dream. The dream is to have a world that is not united, but a world that is free.
A
not
world
one
of,
world,
of
but
sovereign
many
individuals.
I know that you're a supporter of Ron Paul.
Yes.
Ron is a nice guy, and I've done interviews. I did a long interview with him, but he wouldn't come out and tell me that 911 was an inside job.
Yeah.
Now, if he had done that, if he had said, yes, I believe there must be an investigation, during the debates, he could bring it up, and he says, look, I want to ask you guys a question. How did building number 7, when it wasn't hit by an airplane, come down like an implosion, and you see the implosion, the explosions on the side as it comes down and in upon its own footprint. How can steel be melted with Jet A fuel? How could the president have said that he was watching it on television when it wasn't on television? And then he was told about the second hit. How could 19 Arabs fly this plane when 7 of them are dead before, 7 of them are still alive and 1 was dead before the event? Now, I don't want to bring this up, guys, but I'd like to hear an answer from all of you, because I and those people around this country in the 911 movement would like an answer. I don't know what the results are going to be, but when you appoint people, 2 guys, Hamilton and Keene from the Council on Foreign Relations, to investigate this crime,
when they should be indicted,
then you're putting the chicken, the fox, in charge of the investigation of what happened at the chicken show the night before the slaughter.
Right. They get to decide which questions.
Von Paul did not do that.
They get to since they're the head, they get to decide which questions are asked when they have to be interviewed or interrogated.
Listen, if you've been a talk show host for any period of time, you know that you can interrupt. I wouldn't let you guide me. I wouldn't let any other host guide me.
Well,
I would simply take over the reins of the show.
Well, I feel
if you have enough experience, you can do that.
I feel like a Johnny come lately. I feel like you have a lot of experience and wisdom, and I wanted to get as much much of your stories and your mind out for us.
What you're doing on talk radio right now, you may not have been in this as many years as I have been. No. You may not be getting on the bus at the same location. You may be getting on it, 10 miles or 20 or 30 miles down the road from me. I've already been on there, on the trip that long. But I'm saying that you are doing something to talk to many people. It's not just you talking to the guy at the garage or the waitress, or folding the bill for the guy who fixes your shoes, and showing them the North and South Tower being hit in the city of New York. On that bill, when you fold it, there's a couple things that we missed. On the left-hand side, at the bottom of the bill, it has an ST. ST is abbreviation for saint, like St. Cloud,
Santa Claus.
Germain. It's an S, they put an ST, saint. On the other side of the bill, towards the bottom, it'll have an IN. Now put those together. Saint in. Satan. Satan.
Satan. Okay, so here it is. I appreciate all your research and your perspective on the New World Order and bringing all that out. I personally don't believe in Satan, and as far as a supernatural being, I'm one of these people that refuses to acknowledge or accept the notion of Satan as a supernatural being.
Would you not say, if you don't believe in Satan, do you think that they do?
I believe that others do. Yeah, I believe that others do believe that there is a supernatural being. The way I look at it is, it's as if you're saying, people say there's a good God and there's a bad God, and it's Satan becomes kind of like the Osama bin Laden of the God world. It can be pulled out at any moment to be used to control people through fear.
Let's take a look at this. There's according to the Bible, there's the fallen angel or Lucifer. When you see in the Masonic Bible, which is called Morals and Dogma, you have General Albert Pike saying, "Yes, Lucifer is God." That's not my words; it's his words. He says, "Yes, Lucifer is God." When you see this Masonic religion come into into play, and you see the words of General Albert Pike saying the higher initiates of the Masonic religion